I wanted to start off here so that you guys can see the webpage for GoogleLitTrips.org. Here you have a lot of resources, ready-made lit trips for grades K through 12, as well as higher education titles. You have resources for how to create your own Google Lit Trip. Lots of good stuff here. We created our own Google Lit Trip in the classroom, and actually I created this one, and then students are individually creating their own. I have some students who have created their own lit trips. We had some glitches, and so I wasn't able to bring those with me today. But I do have this one that we have used in class based on Vincent van Gogh's autobiography. And what I've done is I've given the students a thin little autobiography of Vincent van Gogh's life. And the students are able to individually and at their own pace follow a lesson plan in nonfiction reading that is paired with this Google Lit Trip. And so let's see how this works. So I've arranged slides in the Google Lit Trip that contain little paragraphs with information, vocabulary, and discussion questions for the students to do. And then the students click on the link that I've prepared here. And here we have a satellite that brings us to Vincent van Gogh's birthplace. And we actually get to see his house. And the students are able to pan around and see the neighborhood. And the house is a museum. This is kind of glitchy sometimes. It doesn't always work real well. But here the students can pan around and see what the neighborhood looks like today, what it was like the day that the photo was taken. And there we go. That's what it looks like now. I would like to be able to zoom out, but it's not letting me. And so we're going to go ahead and move on to the next slide. Vincent van Gogh's first job was at The Hague, and we're going to go and see what that looked like. So Vincent van Gogh took his first job at The Hague at a branch of the international of an international art dealing firm, and this is what the building looks like today. And I don't think it looked too different when he was there. Again, vocabulary and a discussion question for the students. And here's the building today. Students can pan around and see what it looks like. They always get a kick at the Subway restaurant here. He hated his job there, the biography tells us, and so he went to Paris next. And his favorite neighborhood was here at this street. I'm not sure how to pronounce this, but here we go. We're in Paris now, and this is the neighborhood that Van Gogh loved to be in. And the students can walk around. There's a yellow strip that Google Earth gives that allows students to advance and go through the streets, and I'll show it to you if I come across it. But let's move on to Vincent van Gogh's room. You see this is a famous painting. The students know it. Everybody knows this painting. And so let's see where this room was that he rented. He went to a lot of trouble to fix up his room for his brother to come visit. You see these sweet little paintings of him and his brother. Paintings within a painting. And here we are. This is his neighborhood. This is where he rented his room. I don't know which one of these was his room. Maybe this one, maybe here where this guy is. I don't know. It's not too hot, is it? It doesn't look like a very slick neighborhood. But, Van Gogh was not very wealthy. He was pretty poor. This is skewed. It will clear up. There we go. And you see this line, this yellow line, this allows you to advance and actually take a walk through the neighborhood, so to speak, so you can see what it looks like. And students love doing this. They love going through here and seeing what it looks like today. So what I like to do is have the students go through and see the areas that Van Gogh painted. And see here, we have this fishing village in France that Van Gogh painted. And this was in June of 1888 when he went to this little fishing village. Let's see what it looks like today. I'm going to fly there by satellite. Fly, 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 fly. Isn't this cool? Here we go. And voila, here we are. Concrete and construction. Very disappointing. However, we can imagine how beautiful it is at sunset with the sun reflecting off the water, at sunrise, the sweet houses with their red rooftops, the tiles, and the streets, and the students can actually advance through the neighborhood and have a look around. Let's move ahead. And this beautiful famous painting of Van Gogh's The Cafe. Let's see what that looks like today. Fly, 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 fly. And again, each of these slides has homework on it. A little vocabulary, a little blurb. Do you think Van Gogh should have provided more detail in the people's faces? Why or why not? For this painting. But anyway, let's have a look. Here we go. Here it is. This is it. This is the neighborhood. This is the little cafe. And yeah, not too beautiful, right? It doesn't look as great as it does here. But it may have looked different. Oh, definitely looked different back then. It's all skewed now. But there we go. Now it's a little bit more in focus. But yeah, isn't this interesting? And we have a look at the park and the area around it. And there it is. It must have been very different back in the day. Another slide here of one of Van Gogh's famous paintings. And let's go and see what it looks like today. At sunset was when Van Gogh painted this. And here it is. And the question I had for the students here was, this is where Van Gogh went to create the sunset painting. What do you think has changed since his time there in the 1800s? Let's have a look around. Look at these electrical lines and the concrete and all of these modern things. But look at the beautiful trees and the red rooftops. Imagine what it must have been like back in the day. Moving ahead, this is my favorite. Well, this is one of my favorites. The red vineyards. The red vineyards at a harvest. Let's see. What does this vineyard look like today? Fly, 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 fly. Here we go. And there it is. It's not harvest time. But you can imagine what it might have looked like at harvest time. Look at the beautiful colors. Look at the rich colors that Van Gogh saw, or what he put into the photo, or the painting, I mean. We have the famous Starry Night. By now, when Van Gogh painted Starry Night, he had checked himself into a mental hospital. He wasn't doing too well. And so Starry Night was painted from the mental hospital. Come on, Google Earth, take us there. And here it is. This is it. This is the sky that Van Gogh would have seen. This is the area where the hospital, this is the address for the hospital. I don't know if this is the building or exactly which one of these buildings it is, but this is it. This is the address from which he would have painted the famous Starry Night. And then we'll go to the famous wheat field. I believe this is the wheat field where Van Gogh committed suicide. I'll have to look and see if that's it. I don't remember. But what's so interesting about this wheat field, too, is that right across from this wheat field, there's not wheat planted here now, but right across is the cemetery where Van Gogh and his brother Theo are buried. And if we zoom out, if we exit the street view and we look at some photographs that tourists have loaded for us, see these little icons here? These are photographs that tourists have put up for us. We see the grave markers for Vincent van Gogh and Theo. And there are some really pretty ones here, some really nice ones. Here we go, Van Gogh and Theo. And students are able to look through these and see the different, I don't know who that is, the different ones. They can look all through this. Sometimes I find them looking at grave markers that have nothing to do with Van Gogh. And then finally, we have, I leave them with this last slide of a self-portrait of Vincent van Gogh with his ear bandaged. You know, he was said to have cut off his ear. And I asked the students to speculate. Did he cut off his own ear? There are lots of conspiracy theories that say that he didn't, that his brother cut off his ear and that he took the blame so that his brother wouldn't be discredited. And so this is an extra credit discussion question. And then I leave them with the final slide of Vincent van Gogh's neighborhood before he went to the mental hospital. Uh-oh, this is all skewed. This is kind of like a sign, right? No, it's not a sign. Let's just reload it. Hopefully it will load. Uh-oh. Load for us. Load. Come on, Google Earth. And here it is. This is Van Gogh's neighborhood where he lived before he became ill and went into the hospital. And the students can go through the area. One interesting thing about Google Earth is sometimes when you're advancing through here, you can land inside somebody's house. I don't know how that happens, but it's a little disturbing. Anyway, that's a Google Lit Trip, and it's a whole lot of fun, and I hope that you guys have enjoyed it.